What's up, Just Keep It Simple. Today is Tuesday, November the 18th, and our topic for today is knowing your numbers. I want to talk to you about two things that can increase your risk for dangerous health conditions, and they are blood pressure and cholesterol, which both of those can lead to heart disease and or a stroke. Okay? Now, according to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 67 million American adults have high blood pressure and 71 million American adults have high cholesterol. Now, that's a pretty big number right there. Now, let's look at blood pressure first. Now, your blood pressure typically goes up, it goes down throughout the day. It all depends on what you're doing. But if your blood pressure stays high for a long period of time, here is where the damage to your heart occurs, and it can lead to other health issues as well. Now, high blood pressure is also called hypertension as we know it. Now, if you guys remember back in 2009, hypertension was the primary cause of a lot of death in America, which caused about 348,000 deaths. Okay? Now, that's about 1,000 deaths per year. Okay? So, how do you know you have high blood pressure? Well, the most dangerous thing about hypertension is that you may not know you have it. In fact, 1/3 of people who have high blood pressure don't even know it. Okay? So, the only way that you will know if you have high blood pressure is through regular checkups. Now, this is extremely important for those of you who have relatives that already have high blood pressure. So it's key that you check that out on a regular basis, alright? Now, there are some symptoms that are associated with extremely high blood pressure. So if you have extremely high blood pressure, some of the symptoms are severe headache, fatigue, confusion, okay, chest pains, difficulty breathing. Now, if you have some of these symptoms, you need to hightail it to the emergency room because something is going on, alright? Now, what causes high blood pressure and who is likely to develop it? Okay, now there's no exact cause of high blood pressure, but there are factors and conditions that play a role in its development. And some of those are smoking, lack of exercise, genetics, stress, family history of high blood pressure, chronic kidney disease. Okay, so those are just some examples of some conditions that causes high blood pressure and for those who might develop it. Alright, so look at your family history. Okay, now how do you maintain a regular blood pressure level and or control it if you already have it? Well, you can start with reducing your sodium intake. Okay, you can stay physically active. Alright, you can also quit smoking. If you're a smoker, quit smoking. And if you're on medication, continue to take your medication as prescribed. Now, the key thing is, for me, is knowing your numbers. That's so important. So do you know your blood pressure level? Do you know the ranges that's associated with the normal range and the pre-hypertension range? Do you know those numbers? Well, let's look at that for a minute. Blood pressure, a normal blood pressure level is 120/80, alright? And that top number is your systolic. That's the blood pressure when your heart beats. The bottom number is your diastolic, and that's the blood pressure when your heart beats between rests. Alright, so it's key that you know that. Alright, now your pre-hypertension zone, if your blood pressure, the top number is between 120 and 139, and your bottom number is between 80 and 89, you're in that pre-hypertension zone. Alright? Now, let's look at the heart attack and stroke zone. If your top number is greater than 140 and that bottom number is greater than 90, you're in that zone. So those are some things you need to look at. You need to know those numbers. Alright? Alright, so let's look at cholesterol. Cholesterol is a waxy, fat-like substance that's made in the liver and other cells. Now, previously, as we pointed out from the nutrition label from our cooking videos, that cholesterol is also found in certain foods like meat, dairy products, and eggs. Okay? But the thing is, your body actually needs cholesterol to function properly. Right? So it produces hormones, vitamin D, and a bile acid that actually helps digest fat. Alright? Now, if there's too much cholesterol in the body, that's when your arteries begin to clog up, and that's not good. Alright? That can lead to those diseases that we mentioned there. Now, unlike high blood pressure, high cholesterol has no symptoms. Alright? It has no symptoms. So you can be walking around here and have too high levels of cholesterol. The only way to check that out is to get a blood test by your doctor. Okay? So what are some factors that affect cholesterol levels? Well, having foods that are high in saturated fats and cholesterol, being overweight or obese, lack of exercise, age and gender. So the older we get, our cholesterol levels will rise. And for women, your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, typically increases after menopause. So definitely monitor that. Okay? Heredity and poorly controlled diabetes. Those are some examples that are factors of cholesterol levels. Alright? Now, how can we lower our cholesterol levels? Well, we can start by eating low cholesterol foods. And when you're looking at that nutritional label and you see the category for cholesterol, you want to make sure that it's less than 300 milligrams. Alright? Now, an example of an excellent food that I love that reduces cholesterol, and guys, is on the meal plan. Can anyone guess what it is? It's oatmeal. And it says it right on the Quaker box, help reduces cholesterol. So go out and get you some oatmeal. And Cheerios does the same thing as well. Alright? Quit smoking. Alright? If you're a smoker, quit smoking. And also consistent exercise help with reducing your cholesterol levels as well. And again, if you're on medication, stick with your medication. So again, to me, it's all about the numbers. Do you know your cholesterol levels? Do you know the difference between good and bad cholesterol? Well, let's look at that for a second. Well, your bad cholesterol is your LDL. That stands for low density lipoprotein. And basically, LDL carries cholesterol throughout your body. Alright? Now, if it's too much cholesterol, again, it develops into clogged arteries. Alright? Now, a desirable LDL level is less than 100 milligrams per deciliter. Now, if your LDL is between 160 and 180, you are at risk for those diseases that we mentioned. Okay? Now, your good cholesterol is your HDL, which is high density lipoprotein. And it does the total opposite of what LDL does. Okay? It actually removes excess cholesterol from your blood. Alright? So a desirable HDL level is right around 60 milligrams per deciliter. If you fall below 40 milligrams per deciliter, you are at high risk for those diseases. Okay? So your HDL and your LDL interchangeably works together, which gives rise to your total cholesterol. Alright? So a desirable number for your total cholesterol is basically less than 200 milligrams. If it's greater than 240, you're at a high risk. So know your numbers. Alright? There are some other numbers that are associated with your health concerns that you need to know about as well, which includes your glucose levels, your triglycerides, chloride, carbon dioxide, protein, creatine, and some others. And you can get that information just from a vial of blood from your doctor. Okay? So if you haven't done so already, I recommend that you go to your doctor and get some blood work so you know your numbers. Alright? That's very key. Alright, so what does this all mean? If you maintain eating foods in low saturated fat, low cholesterol, low sodium, and if you consistently have a physically active lifestyle, these things can definitely reduce the levels of your cholesterol and blood pressure significantly, okay? So you won't be at risk of a stroke and or heart disease, okay? So monitor what you're eating, exercise, quit smoking, and stick with your medications if you already have these diseases, all right? Now you see, this topic and the other topics that we have covered are major parts of an even bigger moving part of our healthy lifestyle journey. It's all about knowing. So go out, get your blood work to get your numbers, know your blood pressure, know your cholesterol levels, all right? So in the file sections on the group page directly under my picture, I've uploaded fact sheets on blood pressure and cholesterol from the CDC. Okay, I hope this information was helpful. And remember, consistent, healthy eating plus exercise equals your life. So just keep it simple.